Saturday at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City, Colorado led much of the game, but this ending in overtime with the lead. McKinley Wright called for a foul on Booth Gotch's three-point desperation attempt. Utah gets the last-second win. But later that night for Tad Boyle, the Colorado coach, joy, his son, playing for Pomona-Pitzer. Jack Boyle hits a game-winning three at Emory in Atlanta to advance Pomona-Pitzer in the Division III championships.
And their next game is against Elmhurst in Chicago in that D3 championship, Ted.
Yep, and by the way, Tad Boyle's son, Pete, who's a senior in high school, is going to play at Pomona-Pitzer next year, joining his brother.
And that son, Pete, is named after, in honor of Pete Maravich.
Yeah.
The Cougars, though, what a lineup that Kyle Smith has put together.
Yep, so you see the change. Jeff Pollard is available to play tonight. And Lewis will have more on that for us shortly, but Jeff Pollard will not start. Valdemir Markovetsky gets the start along with Tony Miller up front.
Look at that city behind that graphic. Las Vegas, the only place on Earth that is visible from outer space. Las Vegas at night.
How does it look?
It looks beautiful. Powered by hydropower and now ever-increasing solar power.
Tony Miller with it.
Great defense by the Buffaloes. Tyler Bay pushed the ball. If you're the Buffaloes, you want to get this game going up and down.
Buffs wearing some throwbacks tonight. The white jerseys, gold. They're wearing a lot of their all blacks lately, so trying to change up.
The Buff shades of Scotty Wedman. Socked Walseth, the legends from years gone by. Pushed the ball again, McKinley Wright.
Deshaun Schwartz going in. That's set away by Washington State. Chris Rastatter, Michael Irving, and Greg Nixon, the officials.
I love the way Kyle Smith has come ready to play tonight as the coach. From Houston, Texas, a long journey to get to the Palouse, but he's there, and we are honored, privileged, thrilled to have him in the Conference of Champions. Great defense again by McKinley Wright.
Right, deflecting that ball. Bonton tried the jump pass.
If you're the Cougars, don't jump to pass. Stay on the floor.
Gatling, well, there you go, Gatling. And that's one of the guys. Gatling barely played in the game last Saturday in Utah.
You did that game.
I did. Eli Parquet played much of the game, but that's where Tad Boyle's looking for production from that spot.
Buffs look sharp early. They need senior leadership here. Gatling is one of them. He starts, and then Lucas Seward off the bench. Very tall, very skilled perimeter player.
These teams played only once during the season in Boulder. Easy win for Colorado.
Tyler Bay did not play in that game due to injury. Schwartz has been ice cold of late.
And on the run out, it's Ellaby. But Colorado did a nice job of getting back.
Colorado looks quicker to the ball here. And McKinley Wright has 3 defensive pickups already in the first, minute and a half of the game?
Well, he is one of the better rebounding guards I've ever, it's a different era with all the long rebounds, we understand, but for a guy that's barely 6 feet, his rebounding is amazing.
And when you see him standing next to Vova, number 15 from the Ukraine, I'll let you handle the official pronunciation. He goes by Vova, though, and that's good enough for me.
It is. Miller against Bay.
Great.
And Miller goes right over Tyler Bay to score.
When you're going up against a great defender, attack him. Make him fall back. Go right through him. That's what Tony Miller out of a Seattle suburb, Woodinville. McKinley Wright, he looks sharp as can be tonight. I love it when he's assertive.
Bay Robinson clears it.
When McKinley waits for the game to come, it just doesn't happen for him.
Bonton was looking for Markovetsky.
Looks like he's gone to McGuckin Hardware Store in the days off in between the Utah loss. And there he is again. Shocking that Colorado has got 4 straight losses coming in here. Evan Batty.
And he can make that. He won't take a lot of them, but Evan Batty, as you can see it, Bill, his skills are pretty good.
Evan Batty's fantastic.
Yeah, footwork good, hands good.
Strong as can be. There.
Ellaby for 3.
That's his first touch, right? I'm a little surprised at that. You want to have your best player get numerous touches right off the opening tap. These Cougars are in the same position that the Bears were in early on, but this is going to be a higher scoring game at a faster pace than we saw with Cal Stanford. Congratulations to Cal in a thrilling victory. We were lucky to have Jim Knowlton come by the table here in between the games to say hello. And what a fantastic job he's done as the new athletic director for the Bears.
Ellaby back to back.
Now we got a game going. This is what we live for. The Cougars off early.
Remember, last Thursday, Washington State played at McHale against Arizona and led by 6 early in the second half. And they just had a horrid stretch. Arizona scored 26 straight points.
Wow. And then Arizona came back, got hammered by Washington, and then Arizona bounces right back tonight with a big victory. Oh,
Bonton got away with a jump pass there. It'll be a foul on Colorado.
Offense wins, and C.J. Ellaby has got the jumper going tonight. He's seeing it all. The basket, it's as big as Death Valley, the largest national park in the contiguous United States.
And we are back in Las Vegas with the 4th and final game underway. And right now, Washington State up by 2 over Colorado. So Washington State had to play their final 2 regular season games without their senior forward, Jeff Pollard, who was out with a fractured left hand. That is good news for tonight is he is back on the floor. It was about 9 days ago in practice. It was a scramble for a ball. He told me he looked down and looked at his hand and said, that's not supposed to bend like that. Ended up at the hospital. X-rays showed a pretty bad fracture, a break in the left hand, and cast it on. And now the cast is off. So he's been wearing a splint up until game time. And if you look at it, you'll see the heavy tape job that replaces the splint for that support. Now, docs have told him that the break is stable, but Pollard will have to play with pain, and surgery is coming in the offseason. But for now, a happy senior here at the Pac-12 tournament. Ted?
And Lewis, excellent report, but as you and I and Ted all know from personal experience, this is going to be a gargantuan task for Jeff Pollard to be a positive contributor. Broken bones don't just get better, and it's not really a matter of pain. It's a matter of, like, just being almost crazed out there to do what he needs to do to help his team win.
Oh, Tyler Bay, nice up and under to finish. And he got Ellaby off his feet.
And having known the entire Pollard family, literally my entire life, we see Tyler Bay just executing a shot he just faked. The ability of Tyler Bay to capitalize on the power, size, strength advantage that he has over C.J. Ellaby. I just feel bad for the Pollard family.
Yeah,
this is the end of the line for his collegiate career.
But I'll tell you what, Bill, we should, Jeff Pollard's also happy to know the way he just got engaged.
And the team, the celebration that they had when they announced that, it was just terrific.
Jeff got engaged. Oh, there's Ellaby to a young lady from his hometown of Bountiful, Utah.
You ever been to Bountiful?
I have never been to Bountiful.
I love Bountiful, and I love the fact that Utah, like the Phoenix Valley of the Sun, they have so many wonderful names.
Yes. It's another great word. It mirrors what you want in life.
Bountiful. Yeah. Where are you from? I'm from Bountiful. I'm from the Conference of Champions. I'm in Las Vegas. Maddox Daniels, let it fly.
Yeah, late clock here. Daniels has to go. Whoa. Missed, and that's a well, now that Bay got the ball, it's a shot clock violation.
The excellent refereeing crew that we have here. Mike making that call, Michael Irwin, and then Chris, and then Greg over there.
And I should say, Bill, we actually, the Pac-12 tournament gets a scheduling. Right now it's minimal compared to what's going on in the world, but the Mountain West played their tournament earlier this year, and the point being that they're not sharing officials. So the best officials are all working the Pac-12 games.
In our first game tonight, superb crew and matched right here in every aspect, and Tyler Bay working it offensively. Defensive Player of the Year. Congratulations to Tyler Bay.
How do you define defensive player? I was a conversation a lot of us have had lately.
I voted for Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, you said that. That's right. That was interesting. So it's guarding a man to you.
No, it's winning the games.
Winning the games. Okay. But what makes him the defensive player?
winning the game.
So.
Having the impact. Tyler Bay is a much better defensive player than Peyton Pritchard, but Peyton Pritchard has that sense of how to control the game and impact the game. And when you watch Tyler Bay, as we've done now for his 3 years in Colorado, you always want more. I mean, he comes from a wonderful family, had such great coaching growing up here, now with Tad Boyle. But he's got it all, and he has every advantage known. I mean, he's so reminiscent, Tyler is, to me, of a young Robert Ory from Alabama.
That's a great comp.
Lucas Seward high above the crowd. Push the ball, McKinley. Can we just call him Denali?
I'd love to. As in Mount.
Wow.
And Daniels fouled, so Noah Williams.
Why would you make that foul? Your defensive strategy, always make the guy connect on one of these shots before you start contesting them, please.
And it's funny, I'm sure Tad Boyle doesn't find it funny, but I've heard this said that the foul that cost Colorado the game at Utah last Saturday, Colorado fouled more three-point shooters than any team in the conference this year. I did not know that.
Who would know that?
But I've asked this question to a lot of coaches around the conference this year, is that we all sit here and go, you can't foul a three-point shooter, but I've been told that the information that they get says
analytics.
The difference in the made percentage between a contested three and an uncontested three is dramatic.
Well, some teams just tell their players don't ever take a two unless it's a layup. It's all about the personnel that you have, and with Ellaby on fire offensively, a rare miss. He should just keep shooting, because that heat check that he just threw up there. Push the ball, Cougars.
Quick shots there for Colorado. Back.
Beautiful.
Bonton feeding Pollard. Pollard using his good hand to finish.
The only player I've ever seen play effectively with a broken hand, and we saw that Chris Duarte had to end his season after giving it a try, was Wilt.
Really?
But you could always say anything about Wilt in terms of have you ever seen. It always comes back to Wilt. But Wilt just changed his game. He just rebounded, blocked, laid off nice backdoor passes, and then just dunked everything in the basket area. And he stopped shooting.
Bonton losing that.
Beautiful slip of the double team out there, and the fortunate reverse move here. Pollard's footwork is just superb. And that family of playing basketball and living basketball, and the character and values that he's been able to absorb throughout the course of his life, with everybody just being on the front lines constantly. Great military commitment in that Pollard family.
Batty going in over Pollard.
Great rebounding position by the Cougars.
Noah Williams high for that.
My first Washington State game this year, Ted.
Well, we're in the same boat. Bonton drills it.
I love the red-haired ponytail. I am the first player in the history of the NBA to ever have a ponytail. And when I did that, my hair was still red. And I still had hair.
Remember that well.
I wish I didn't.
Kuntz with a miss. So
push the ball, Bonton.
And he does. Well, Tad Boyle's going to call timeout. This is starting out like the last game.
We are seeing deja vu all over again. John Fogerty not here tonight, but it's the Bonton and Ellaby show early on. Offense wins, and that has been the assertive mindset of a little bit of everything. Attack, relentless, offense wins.
Coach Smith is a great coach, and you know, other than that, he's a great person. He's just a great person to be around, and he's able to just instill such a spirit of competitiveness in all of us as a team, and you know, I think that shows carrying over to the court, and he's one of the most excited guys for practice every day, and that just kind of carries over to us, and it kind of just lifts all of us up and builds us.
Jeff Pollard, auditioning for our jobs as a brilliant
Yes.
broadcaster there. But Scott Pollard, his uncle, played high school basketball in San Diego. It's a global family, the Pollard family. Our oldest son, Adam, was a high school teammate of Scott Pollard.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. Before Scott starred at Kansas and then went on for a dozen or 15 years in the NBA. Just fantastic. Where's the offense going to come from here?
Now, Deshaun Schwartz got right to the rim there, but shot didn't go.
But the experience that the Pollard family brings. I mean, literally, from Hawaii, originating so much up in Utah, down in San Diego, and then going on throughout the world. I mean, it's really the missionary spirit. Perfect example of humanity at its best. Whoa, this is your best shooter.
Wow.
And that looks like it was going to break the backboard. Come on, Deshaun, what's going on here?
Well, that's what Tad Boyle would like to fight this out too, because again, this game, the first 9 minutes, has a feel like the one we just saw.
Whoa!
And that's wide right by Gatling.
So the shooters on this team from the perimeter, Lucas Seward, Deshaun Schwartz, and Shane Gatling, and their shots are not even close. I mean, McKinley Wright is playing well, Tyler Bay, Evan Batty doing a good job. But when you play with those 3 stars, Batty, McKinley, and Bay, you're going to be wide open all the time. Foul over the back, Miller. Have you ever been to Pullman? January 7th for me, 1974.
It's been too long since I was there for football this year. It's a great place in the fall.
I was up there recently in the summertime. Actually, it was the fall. I was on an incredibly fantastic long-distance bike ride, 1,000 miles over 10 days. In the Palouse and the Wallowas, Nez Perce country.
Oh, that's a safari if I've ever heard one.
That was the trip of a lifetime. Have you read Bob Iger's The Ride of a Lifetime?
Well, the point, Jeff Pollard referenced it in the conversation, though. Pat Shunn, the athletic director for the Cougars, is here. Nick Rolovich, the new football coach, was with us between sessions.
Okay.
And he's made 2 great, nice job, Tyler Bay. But Washington State, 2 terrific hires in the last year to find, more recently, Rolovich for football, but Kyle Smith, an excellent hire to take over basketball.
Pat Shunn, who I do have some experience with from the conference meetings, that guy is on.
And Schwartz hit, and that is a 3-and-1. Schwartz hit Jermaine Robinson.
Washington State Pullman, that's the hardest job of any of the Pac-12 schools. Why Schwartz would close out like that is beyond description or rationalization or explanation.
That was an easy call to make. Robinson, no chance to land. And here's 10 minutes into the game. And a team that prides itself on defense, Colorado, and the Cougars have 23 points.
Well, the Cougars were fantastic in the pre-conference season, going 9-4 there. Kyle Smith replacing Ernie Kent after 6 glorious years. Experienced tremendous home success. Bova, send it back. One of the few Ukrainians joining Svi, Vitaly Potapenko. And now Alex Len, the great anchor for the Sacramento Kings.
Ellaby. And there's another foul on the shot. And you see the gesture by Maddox Daniels, saying that the shooter shot the legs out.
This has been superb basketball leading out here for the Cougars. 6-12 in the conference. They were picked to finish 11th, and they did.
Here's a look at the foul here. It'll be a little bit of a left leg kick.
He ran underneath him.
Yeah.
You have to give the guy a chance to come down. I mean, if you don't do that, you're just going to not have any players left by the end of the first half.
Charles James Ellaby. Found out that's what CJ is.
His dad played basketball. Bill, right at Cal.
Was a Golden Bear, and there's just a missed, fumbled handoff. Noah Williams back. Ellaby with an acrobatic follow, and look at this score.
Offense spirit,
And
team.
Colorado, McKinley Wright really getting into some of his teammates here, trying to fire them up.
Cougars.
This is stunning.
I love Cougars.
15-2 run for the Cougs.
And the initiation of the offense, more importantly, the continuation, the relentless pursuit of the ball. Like life, those who go after it. Yes, that's what we're looking at and for.
All right, you Hall of Famer. Well, let's check after we check in with Lewis.
Well, let me take my best shot at it. Volodymyr Markovetsky. How was that? All right, so his hometown is Truskovets, Ukraine, and from there to Pullman is approximately 5,400 miles. So this freshman is literally playing on the other side of the world. And Bill, I know you love the world, you love trivia and things like that. Were you familiar that that sound is known for spas, resort spas, medical spas? Spas are famous in Truskovets, Ukraine. And are you going soon?
It's not on my itinerary.
Let's get it on there, huh?
Lewis, I love the Ukraine. My piano teacher, Dmitry, is from the Ukraine. He was a refugee of Jewish ethnicity and descent, and they had to get out of there. So he came to San Diego, and my life has never been the same again. Thank you, Dmitry.
All right, a punch out here in another 20 seconds for the Cougars.
As Dmitry always said, Bill, this is really easy. Would you please stand up?
Well, I was going to just say we have a Hall of Fame guy sitting right here, as there's a foul on Tony Miller. McKinley Wright, we often hear about player leadership, players taking ownership, and McKinley Wright was hot at that time out, and he was challenging, from what I could see, challenging some of his teammates.
I'm worried about the Buffaloes, like Stanford, not playing their best basketball as the season goes on. This team should be spectacular. They are mature, they're old, they've got star players, but I see slooping shoulders from the support guys, from the shooters, from Schwartz, Gatling.
Nice drive. Parquet there.
Parquet is one of the guys who's come alive. Things going up for Parquet, things going up for Maddox Daniels.
Ellaby spun away, and charging foul. So Ellaby picks up his second. So Ellaby has 13 points, and now Kyle Smith will have to make a decision.
But that's what champions do. They come out, it's all on the line right here. That's a bad call. That's a flop. Should have been no call or a technical foul on Evan Batty.
Well, Batty's going right in. He tried with force and didn't get there.
Evan, you got to pull the basket down if you're going to make that play. A la James Donaldson, one of the Cougar legends.
James Donaldson.
And one of the great teammates I ever had the privilege.
You were a San Diego Clipper together.
Clippers together, and LA Clippers. Oh my.
Ellaby going.
Great hands. Maddox Daniels.
Ball squirts to Bonton. And the kick out for the three, Robinson.
Oh, just missed. Maddox Daniels. Junior college flash from South Florida last year. Big scorer there. Ellaby again.
Ellaby anticipated the pass.
Oh my gosh. That's a heat check. 1-on-4.
Yes, that was.
That's Danny Ainge.
Yeah, DJ Rodman going for the offensive board.
Well, maybe if Dennis was here too.
First day and night of this Pac-12 men's tournament presented by New York Life. Alfonso Plummer setting a conference record for any game, regular season or tournament. 35 points.
He was red hot early, but the turnaround, Oregon State comes alive, and then in the next game, it was Josh Green, who has been up and down, mercurial performer all year long. He was hot enough to win. Player of the day, though, has been Matt Bradley, leading the serious underdogs against Stanford. Wire-to-wire victory for the Bears, standing tall, waiting for somebody to throw a fish in their mouth. But that scene, that is the T-Mobile Arena, and that skylight, the mural up top illuminated this incredible place here in the Mojave Desert, the smallest desert, the Mojave, in all of North America.
Saw all the NHL banners hanging above. Of course, this is the home of the Vegas Golden Knights.
This is going to be the home of everything soon.
Yeah, Bonton with a nice drive and finish. And again, just look at the score. And a game as the previous game where Colorado has a lot to play for. Not a bubble team, but certainly to play for better seeding and momentum.
But Colorado, like Stanford, Lucas Seward able to find the range, playing that high post. Bova is not going to have the mobility to get out on the perimeter and guard him. You have to play your defense in anticipation of what might come. Beautiful pass. Finish Bova. Finish Bova. Yes. Now that's how you dunk.
Markovetsky soaring into the air for that dunk.
Okay, say it again for me, please.
Markovetsky.
Markovetsky.
Vladimir Markovetsky.
Well, you have the experience. You're also not a stutterer. English is my fifth language. Bova speaks at least 4 languages.
Seward. This was a guy, Seward, another guy. Seward didn't play a whole lot last Saturday in Utah, but he had a terrific game when the Buffs beat the Cougs this year. He had 16 and 10.
So think of Lucas Seward and the matchup that he's got now, and think of Alvin Adams from Oklahoma and how he used to play against the big guys. You know, because he would
pull them out, right?
There was no way that Alvin was going to ever be effective down low, but the strength, the power, and the extension. I'm not sure there was air underneath his toes. You have to slide a piece of paper under there. The only guy I ever saw dunk without leaving the ground was Yao Ming.
Yeah, flat-footed.
Yeah. There's Lucas Seward now with Ellaby down low. Great rebounding here for the Cougars.
And that's good play by Colorado, going right at Ellaby, who has 2 fouls. Would imagine that would be if Colorado go right back to that play.
Last time the Cougars were in the NCAA was 07. That was even before Klay Thompson, who when he got there, they became the NIT kingpin.
Jeff Pollard on the roll. I talked to Kyle Smith about that yesterday. I asked him, and he has talked to Tony Bennett about, that was Tony Bennett coaching that team. And he's talked to him about the job in Pullman and what it entails. And of course, that was the last time the Cougs had success.
I have been most impressed in my limited experience with Kyle Smith. Oh, where are the guards for the Cougars at the foul line? Please.
Seward.
Take a.
Oh, that one hurts for Colorado. Halfway down.
Couldn't be more down.
And then a steal. Ellaby runs out.
Whoa, you got to pass that ball.
Parquet
please
swats it.
So the dream here for the Cougars. Ellaby, he's got 2 guys on him. He's behind the basket, and his teammate is wide open. Give it up, please. But the dream for Kyle Smith: play the defense, control the boards, and take care of the basketball. They've got hot hands going right now. This Houston native who went to Hamilton College, class of '92.
Hamilton, upstate New York.
Yeah, D3 school.
You like winners, you go there. And I grew up in New York, I can say that. So anyway, but
if you like life, you come to the Conference of Champions.
Kyle Smith, Kyle's coaching pedigree, USD, as you were talking to him about for a long time. Then Long really made his mark as a top assistant to Randy Bennett at St. Mary's. And his first head coaching job,
Columbia.
We were referencing yesterday a wonderful man named Bill Campbell, for whom the Campbell Trophy is named. Justin Herbert, the Oregon quarterback, won this year.
And
Bill Campbell helping. Exactly. Bill Campbell helping Kyle with that first job at Columbia, then to San Francisco.
And Bill, and the book about Bill Campbell's life, The $1 Trillion Coach. Yes. Now, Bill was not into promotion like that.
Bill would cringe and is cringing upstairs at that title. But the meaning behind the book was excellent.
Yeah, and Eric Schmidt, Calman, put that book together. It was fantastic. Kyle Smith, wow, he has controlled the terms of this conflict here. Assistant no more, the head and the star in Las Vegas.
The Pac-12 men's basketball tournament is presented by New York Life. For 175 years, New York Life has been helping people act on their love. Visit NewYorkLife.com or connect with a financial professional to put your love into action. Back with our terrific Pac-12 Network crew, the end of a long day here in Las Vegas. C.J. Ellaby's shot chart. You see the 2 circles for the makes, 3 threes off on the right wing. Our shot chart's powered by Noalytics.
Noalytics, I love Noalytics. And the fact that Ellaby has come out to put that ball in the air, and that's what leadership is all about. I'll take care of this, do what others can't and won't do.
So now 3:55 in the half, and Kyle Smith with a good tactical decision. 14 points up. He's going to sit Ellaby with 2 fouls.
I would have kept him out there. But then, I've been sitting over here, and he's the coach. But you're playing well.
He had a 14-point lead. That's why he's doing it. Right?
Yeah, but this lead could evaporate.
Well, yeah.
And momentum is the most elusive thing in sports and life. Lewis Johnson, we got you on the team tonight. We're thrilled.
All right, I'm glad to be on the team. And Tad Boyle is trying to get his guys on the right play and the right team as they try and finish up this first half. Really talking a lot about taking care of the basketball and competing at everything we do. His goal is to get the game within 10 by halftime, but he's telling them, listen, no heads down, and he clapped them up out of the huddle. So trying to, again, reinforce positiveness, but getting it down to 10 is what his goal is for this first half.
Lewis, ever the optimist, ever the encourager, but the reality is that the body language of the Buffaloes is it's like they've come to the desert and only found cactus to eat. Buffaloes need grass.
Look
Vova.
How about that? Markovitsky stood flat-footed and reached over Dallas Walton, who's 7 foot, by the way, to get that
Dallas
rebound.
Walton is taller than I am, and as fine a young man as you'll ever come across. Dallas Walton, who's just coming back from 3 very serious knee injuries.
He was right over a 7-footer.
That's why you keep your hands above your shoulders on the rebounds. But
McKinley Wright. Back. McKinley Wright takes it in himself. Walton. Schwartz, and he's fouled. Markovitsky fouls him.
Markovitsky. All right,
Hammer, Muehlbach, and Watson coming up with our State Farm halftime report.
What a team we have here in Las Vegas with the incredible Pac-12 network.
Yeah, we do. And our production teams, Michael Molinari and Jay Cutlow producing, and Scott Barkey and Tom Satursky directing, and Bob Schmelzel back there. He's running the whole show. If you want really good food, you go find Bob.
How about Larry Myers? How about David Coppett? Wow, what a team. But right now, this Cougar team has been most impressive, the way that Cal was early on. And to go back to Kyle Smith and growing up in Houston and the childhood heroes that he had. Akeem Olajuwon, Nolan Ryan, and Earl Campbell, and Deshaun Schwartz seems to be lost in the fog.
Wow. Deshaun Schwartz 0 for 4 at the foul line. Wow. This is shocking. Compounding. Colorado is 3 out of 10 from the foul line so far.
Great.
There's Tyler Bay.
Defensive Player of the Year, keeping it in play, igniting the offense.
McKinley Wright knocks it down. Now, it's every year you come here and you wonder about teams shooting in the big arena. They don't play in this arena. Haven't felt that way until this first half tonight.
They played here earlier this year in the regular season, and more teams are doing that. And with the coast-to-coast challenge that the Pac-12 has initiated starting next year, Ellaby has gone cold here. And McKinley Wright, Denali himself is on fire. Just take it yourself, little man. The little big man. That ball just an extension of his mind.
Ellaby back in the game, by the way, as Batty's spin is short. Ellaby on the floor, sees Jermaine Robinson.
Pollard has to catch that with one hand, and that's what's only going to lead to injuries to his one remaining good hand. Spoken from experience. Traveling Riley. Tyler Bay's defense. Growing up right here in Las Vegas, this arena, which is so spectacular, and he keeps it in play. That is Bill Russell. That is Akeem Olajuwon. That is Scottie Pippen.
That's a Defensive Player of the Year right there.
Just take it with one hand, pull it into the other, and then just the continuous motion of getting the ball up the court. Beautiful. like the Amargosa River flowing underground into and through Death Valley. Whoa, great defense. Rodman.
Yep, Rodman broke up that entry. Bonton.
The perimeter.
Oh, wow.
Now that's a foul.
And McKinley Wright. Everybody hovered over there on the Colorado side, checking him out. Flying body block foul there.
It's been an injury-plagued season for this Cougar squad. We can only hope that Denali is going to be okay. That's something that you see in the NFL. You still doing the NFL, Ted?
Good. Thankfully, his head did not hit the floor. That's the good news there. And they can't. I mean, that's the indispensable piece. Understatement, I acknowledge.
Absolutely.
And look, it's funny because we've honored Peyton Pritchard, rightly so, for leading the conference in points and assists. He led in assists for all games. In conference play, McKinley Wright led in assists. And with that, our USAA leader.
So when you think of the elements of leadership and how they apply and are embodied by little McKinley Wright, the true giant among us, illuminate the path forward, define the terms of the conflict, never ask anybody to do something that you haven't already done yourself or aren't willing to do yourself, do what others can't and won't do, lead the relentless offensive attack, be willing to say no, understand that risk and failure and uncertainty are all part of everything. And then when things go wrong, it's on you. It's never easy. McKinley Wright just holding his ribs, trying to shake out the whole body. This guy's tough as can be. Now don't double team Jeff Pollard. Only got one hand.
Ellaby. And Ellaby.
Finally a good sign, but I'm seeing a sense of the Cougars not passing the ball the way they did early. The guy who's got it looks to be looking for his own shot.
15 for Ellaby. Rodman doing a real active job defending at the below post against Bay. Look at that. Rodman doing a nice job.
Fierce competition.
Yeah.
They're going to call it on Rodman, though.
Yeah.
No, they're going to call that on
Pollard.
Jeff Pollard.
They let that play go with Rodman and Bay, and it was
good.
That was good old school post fighting.
Did you ever play against Dennis Rodman? I did. When I couldn't move at all, I was a statue already. The foundation just wasn't good enough. Evan Batty, I sure hope his mom Roz is here tonight.
I'll tell you what, we referenced the story earlier about Oscar Da Silva's fall. Evan Batty had to go to the locker room before he could come back to compose himself. His mother came in to help him, along with Anthony Coleman, the assistant coach.
Raj, who came to the West Coast, Los Angeles, when she was 13 years old, maybe a little bit older. She's now a PhD candidate in engineering at USC. What an incredible school the Trojans have.
But this young guy, Evan Batty, I've been told this a lot this year. It's hard to think of a more popular athlete on the campus in Boulder in recent years than Evan Batty.
They refer to him as the mayor of Boulder. I thought that was Pasta J.
Easy. We'd vote for him. All right, Ellaby faked the screen, and Bonton does a nice job.
Great defense by Evan Batty without getting off the floor.
McKinley Wright trying to engineer one last shot for the Bucks, get it under 10. Going in himself.
Great
and
defense
nothing
by
happens.
the Cougars.
Yeah. Nothing happens at the basket, and we end up with a 10-point halftime lead.
The Cougars have to realize that nothing's more meaningless than the halftime score of a game other than the final score of an exhibition game. This is far from an exhibition game. We have Lewis Johnson here at T-Mobile Arena.
Washington State trying to double down on this, making a real surprising night after Cal took down Stanford. Now it is Washington State up 10 at the half on Colorado. Lewis?
Well, Coach, what did you see from your team here in this first half?
We played really hard. We defended our butts off, made some shots, played a little crazy. That's just kind of how we play, though.
All right, now how do you keep the pressure on Colorado defensively and keep them struggling to find their shot and getting their rhythm?
We got to run them off the three a little bit. We did a really good job with McKinley Wright. Keep him out of the paint.
All righty, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about the respect for Lewis Johnson? Kyle Smith put his jacket on.
Put his coat on. I can't. Kyle, it's a basketball
That's
game.
the command Lewis respects.
We all love Lewis Johnson. What a night. Las Vegas, McKinley, Tyler. But it's been the Cougars who have stood tall here. Wow, lots more to come throughout the night. It's early here.
And it's Yammer, Muehlbach, and Watson coming up. State Farm halftime report, other side. Pac-12 tournament presented by New York Life. We come back to Las Vegas for, well, I'm repeating myself from about 2 hours ago. A very big second half for Colorado. Not that their March thing is in trouble, but boy, just to get some good vibes going. C.J. Ellaby had a ton of them going for the Cougs.
From the opening tap, he was on fire. He was assertive. The balance, the skill, the execution, the competitive greatness, moving without the ball, coming right out. And then the defense was slow to react, and he was not hesitant at all to just let it fly. He knows what it's like to be on center stage here in Las Vegas. What an incredible performance here by the Cougars, who have just completely dominated the lifeless, the spiritless Buffaloes from Colorado. I'm just shocked and stunned.
I'm shocked. I mean, if you look at the stat sheet, Colorado you'd think would be down 25, but the one, McKinley Wright, no assists in the first half. Colorado only one assist as a team.
Because they're making McKinley Wright beat you as a scorer, and that is the theoretical approach. Now, the second half adjustments for these Buffaloes have to be anticipation. Don't wait for the game to come to you, and be involved, everybody as a team on every aspect. And then the role players, where are you? Tyler Bay has been good. McKinley, Denali, he has been excellent. Evan Batty has been fine, but where are the other guys? This is a team game. It's got to be Deshaun Schwartz, Lucas Seward, Shane Gatling, Dalen Kuntz, Eli Parquet, Maddox Daniels.
And our game plan there is presented by Principal Financial. So second half begins. Right away, we notice Colorado starting Maddox Daniels in the second half.
It doesn't appear as if things are going well for the Buffaloes, because Deshaun Schwartz, who has been a fixture of this program for a couple of years now, not starting. He just looked completely out of sync in the first half. Turnover here. Whoa, they're not calling that?
Oh, that's what
Todd Boyle cannot believe it.
Oh, Ellaby hits a three, and if you're in Colorado's shoes, that is a double dagger. They thought it was a turnover, and then Ellaby just drains a three.
Okay, so if the Buffaloes, you can't sit there and whine about it. You got to go and get it back.
Maddox Daniels gets inside for a two.
Why is Ellaby going for that pumping? That's a block shot by Miller.
And McKinley, look what McKinley Wright was on the offensive board there.
Well, he's a fighter and a tiger.
Yes.
And I just love the way he floats and dances. This is the city of fighting, and this arena here, which now holds so many great boxing matches.
Look at that.
Vova!
Look
Yes!
at that. Well, that's a little different definition of the roll part of the pick and roll. I'm not sure.
What are they calling
They
here?
called an offensive foul.
No, they can't call. Oh, come on, a bunch of little guys running underneath Vova. You ever been to the Ukraine?
I was close, and that was good, because it was not a good time to be in there.
Well, tell me when it is.
Yeah, thank you. Tyler Bay. And it's going to go in on Tony Miller. Lean
Traveling.
Instead, it'll be a foul on Miller. That'll be Miller's third. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
And you can tell Chad Boyle and the bench is just looking for something good to happen here. We talked coming out of halftime, and he said, listen, this second half, we've just got to be tougher on offense. Tough. He said the first half we couldn't get anything moving. We let the Cougars blow up our offensive passes. And I asked him if he thought the team was back where they need to be mentally here as the second half starts. He said, we'll see.
Lewis Johnson, you're a champion in all things on and off the court. if you're having to question whether you have the competitive toughness at this point of the season, you don't have it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the elements of great coaching, right? You know about that. You've got to somehow challenge your guys to dig themselves out of something, and Tad is really doing that. Came out of the locker room late, working his team over there, and now looking for something good to happen there. Try and turn this game around.
Lewis, the disappointing thing for me with the Buffaloes is that we know these guys. We know them to be great guys and people.
Oh, Ellaby!
And to have it, to let it slip away. We've all been there when it looked like it was going to happen, but it's never easy.
And Noah Williams steps in front. And this is feeling like an all-charging foul. Well, 2 offensive fouls here have kept this from potentially being 20 points.
Ellaby, who comes off this great pop out here to receive the ball, and he is not waiting for anything or anybody, just letting it go. That is a champion level performer, and he makes the first team all Pac-12. The leader of the team, he has come to deliver and fight. Great defensive rotation. The Cougars are everywhere. I love Cougars.
Anton.
Whoa.
Anton conquered the fear of shooting clearly at an early age. And he rattled that down, and Washington State leads by 18.
In my 59 years, I have never heard that before. Conquered the fear of shooting. Ted Robinson. A truer statement never made. Cougars all the way. Buffaloes only finding cacti.
Washington State.
Wow.
We saw an incredible shooting performance by Alfonso Plummer early today. Ellaby's looking that way. 5 out of 7 from 3.
But this is how you play basketball. Not about strategy. It's about players making plays. And guys have come out and let it fly. 3-point daggers have gone all the way for the Washington State Cougars. And remarkably, an 11th seed has never won in the history of Pac-12.
Pac-12, because we didn't have one before that. And look at this. The last time the Cougars won any tournament game was the Pac-10. 2009, still in Los Angeles.
Their last postseason appearance was in 2012 in the CBI, which was canceled for this year, just this afternoon.
And I believe they were invited to that. Kyle Smith talked about that about a month ago, that if they wanted to play, that's one of those you pay to get in. They don't pay you. You pay to play. Yeah. It's an interesting scam, but somehow it's been pulled off.
Okay, somebody write this stuff down. What was that? Conquered the fear of shooting in an interesting...
I'm putting on a postseason tournament. I'm honoring you. And by the way, you pay me to play.
Oh, please, somebody write this down and send it to me. Because I'll never remember. There's going to be so much going down in the next... How many minutes we got? 17:25.
We had, I believe, the first year of that one, we had 2 Pac. Stanford and Oregon State played in the championship, the best of 3. And I know Stanford walked away and said, we will never play in this again, because they drew like 400 fans to the game at Stanford. And they were paying to do it.
Well, Stanford with the 3rd largest endowment in all of college sports. Oh, great defense, Tyler Bay. And Harvard has the biggest endowment at $37 billion. Yale is second at $27 billion, and then Stanford's now up to $25 billion. Although they're still struggling with the divestment of the fossil fuels. That is an ongoing story in Palo Alto, the tall tree.
Well, and in the spirit of the evening, because we understand if you're watching this, you're interested in basketball, but we can't escape the world going on. Stanford University this evening asked all of their students to leave campus until further notice. And California is definitely in the epicenter of what we're facing right now.
Everything is going to be changing on a moment-by-moment basis.
And Washington State is up 18.
This is a clinic. Best I've ever seen this Washington State team play.
Nice feed inside. That was Gatling. Good assist there, setting up Batty.
If you're Washington State, don't slow down. Don't look back. The other team, they have been irrelevant to this point. Keep them that way by you continuing to play superb basketball.
That was the second assist tonight for Colorado.
Wow. Say that one more time, please.
Second
assist
of
for the
game.
entire team.
Yep.
Yikes. Cougars on the run here. Defensive opportunities. Noah Williams, just a little flip pass. That is just a thing of beauty. And the way that our view is blocked here by the cocktail waitresses. Oh my gosh. Only in Las Vegas. Only at T-Mobile. That's an offensive foul. Please. I can only hope that Noah Williams is okay. They're going to have to check him out after that pork chop right into the face.
Las Vegas, Nevada, the Pac-12 tournament. Alfonso Plummer, 11 threes, a Pac-12 record. 6 seconds. The kick. Lucas is open. Oh! And Oregon State has won. Josh Green from the corner. The Wildcats advance and get it done.
Look at the competitive greatness from these Bears. Wow, Conference of Champions, Las Vegas, here we go. What a night, but it's been the Cougars who have stood tall here.
And there's the bracket. We'll start with a civil war tomorrow at noon. Oregon State, USC, Arizona. Cal upending Stanford, so Cal playing so well down the stretch to play UCLA. And of course this winter, tomorrow night, back for the last game against Arizona State.
And the celebration of life continues here. Yes, we have challenges, but they will always be there. Fortunately, the great partners that we have as the Conference of Champions here in Las Vegas, AEG, and then MGM, the largest gaming company in the world, the largest employer here in Las Vegas, and the largest taxpayer. Thank you, MGM, for putting on this fabulous tournament.
Nice feed inside,
that's a foul.
and Rodman will go to the line. There's Pollard, and Jeff Pollard shaking. You can see him in the background there. Pollard, that hurt. That hurt.
He's got a broken bone in there.
Shaking and grabbing at that left hand.
Broken bones only get better through immobilization. Basketball is the opposite extreme of immobilization.
I don't have the quantity you do. I do have quality in my background of the same thing. There's only one thing: time.
And you got to lock it up.
Right.
You got to put a cast on it. Jeff's going to have surgery. They're going to have to pin it back together. I mean, he's taking a huge chance and risk out there. Duarte tried it. And like everybody else, he found out that it just you can't do it. And Jeff will find out. But as a senior, he knows this is the very end of the line. They haven't won a game here in quite a few years in the conference tournament. And this is the end of his line.
Schwartz back in the game out of this timeout for Colorado.
And we'll see what kind of response Deshaun Schwartz brings.
Batty going in
Great
hard.
defense, Ellaby, and Jeff Pollard in the perfect position. Push the ball, Cougars. Don't wait around.
Hard to believe again. 11 years since the Cougars have won any game in this tournament. And look at the commanding position they're in.
They had a terrific season, though, the Cougars did. Big victories. They took UCLA to overtime twice. Won at home, lost in overtime in Los Angeles.
Now they have a terrific player, C.J. Ellaby, who, oh, wow. Now that was the first off one he's had tonight.
But the Cougars, they beat Oregon when Oregon was number 8 in the country. They beat OSU. They won the game at the retirement ceremony for Klay Thompson. And what a day that was with a huge sellout crowd. Looking forward to the day when Kyle Smith can fill the arena there in Pullman.
Look at this screen. Watch this. Yeah.
Boom.
Batty didn't budge, did he? That was one heck of a screen.
You know, you look at Evan Batty and you say, this is a guy that suffered a stroke. And this is a guy who's come all the way back from near death. And you look at him and you say, well, you know, this guy, he just doesn't look like a guy who's in top physical shape. You bump into Evan Batty,
yeah,
that guy's a rock. It's like bumping into El Capitan.
And what you love about Evan Batty, again, the personality, the makeup is extraordinary, and you can see how you watch him, see how skilled he is. You know, the great Pete Newell would say that about his footwork.
Footwork, balance, yes, hand-eye coordination, emotional commitment, always upbeat.
Yes.
Even when the circumstances don't deserve him being on top of the world, spiritually, psychologically. I love Evan Batty. Great step out, Lucas Seaward. Throw it down.
There you go.
Bova.
Valdemir Markovetsky.
I'm working on it, Ted.
Yeah. And Tyler Bay with a flip in for Colorado.
Tremendous recovery.
There is enough time, as you can see. It's just Colorado is going to have to at some point make a stand here. Washington State with 50 points already.
You ever read any books about Ukraine? No. The Silk Roads.
And there's another three. Rodman knocks it down with a foul.
Offense wins, and that's what we're seeing. And they have found the Cougars. They have found their own Silk Road to the top of the promised land here. Let it fly after the pump fake, step back, clearly behind the line, and the defensive breakdowns once again. Why are the Buffaloes going for pump fakes on three-point shots by DJ Rodman? And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that DJ stands for Dennis Jr.
A 20-point lead. That's the 10th made three by DJ Rodman this year. Tyler Bay going right at Ellaby, and Ellaby
just backing out of the way.
Exactly right. Ellaby still has the 2 fouls he picked up in the first half, but you can see he's not interested in getting a third.
When you're worried about foul trouble, just don't even try to play defense. Just get it back on the offensive end. And that's World Be Free basketball. I had the privilege of being World's teammate. Gene Shue asked him once. Oh my gosh.
Ellaby. Again, it's not the quantity of Plummer early today, but the quality's there. 6 of 8 from the three.
So World Be Free in the locker room before the game when Gene Shue asked him how he was going to stop Sonny Parker, who had 8 inches in height on him.
I have an idea. Go ahead.
World said,
score 35, right?
I'm going to get 50 in his face on the other end. And he did, and we won. World Be Free, one of the great ones ever. Let it fly. Conference of Champions and the happiness and the joy. And this is what Kyle Smith has brought, a sense of optimism and hope, which always dies last. But the challenges that the Cougars face on a constant basis. Look at that, throw it down, Miller.
Miller is fouled inside. It is all Washington State. Remember I said a minute ago there was still time? Did I really say that?
It's okay, Ted. Tony Miller, best I've ever seen him play. 2-time transfer, started at Seattle Pacific, then went to Montana.
He had a really good game, 21-8 in Tempe Saturday. So, by the way,
go ahead.
I said this to Kyle Smith yesterday. You are one heck of a coach. He said Isaac Bonton must be a tremendous player because when they played in Tempe Saturday, Isaac Bonton missed 20 shots and had 11 turnovers
and left him in the game.
And they were close. They were close. The game went down to the final minute.
Wait a minute. You missed 20
missed shots and 11 turnovers. You can't make that up.
Ted, you're on fire. Tyler Bay. Oh my gosh. So this book, The Silk Roads by Peter Frankopan, it talks about the history of the world that is not United States centric. And it talks about how all these other places around the world led the evolving economic success until the United States took over just 100 years ago or so. And Ukraine was right there as one of the centerpieces, as the breadbasket of Europe. And why the battles have all been fought over the Ukraine, particularly in World War II. Tyler Bay, a bright spot for an otherwise forgettable evening so far for the Buffaloes. McKinley Wright in the same position here as Tyler Bay. But if the Stars are playing well and the rest of the guys are not even seemingly in the moment, oh my gosh, that's a heat check. That's Danny Ainge basketball right there. Whoa.
And he stepped away, let McKinley Wright have that shot. That is the first made three for Colorado tonight.
It's as if McKinley's saying, you guys don't seem interested in playing. I'm just going to have to do this by myself. Great hands again, Tyler Bay. Whoa.
All right, that brings us to a timeout break here where time starts to become a major factor in Colorado's flickering heartbeat tonight.
Tick, tick.
All right, this is my soapbox moment, Bill. I want to salute seniors. Seniors. Kyler Kelly played 2 great years. Lucas Seward started 130 games for Colorado. These two have been spectacular foundation pieces for USC. Jonah Matthews and Nick Rakocevic, and they're going to keep playing into March. And then, of course, the 2 Oregon standouts, Trace Tinkle and Corvallis, and the Player of the Year, and certainly a National Player of the Year top candidate in Peyton Pritchard. I purposely did not put grad transfers on the all-senior team. That's a separate category to me. These were guys, and Kyler Kelly, 2 years, but at least 2 years. And there are some awfully good Stone Gettings, Shakur Houston, there are guys who did a great job as grad transfers this year. And the other kudo I wanted to throw was to Mickey Mitchell, who fought back after, everybody thought his career was done to physical injuries, and he fought back to be a contributor, and he'll be out here tomorrow night for ASU.
Even though they're seniors, they're still so young, and they have no idea how important, valuable, and meaningful and special these years in college are. Someone like me who's been there and seen the top, but also the bottom. How lucky these guys are to be part of the Conference of Champions, and signs of life here. Kyle Smith cannot believe that. There is so much time here. This is a 12-point game, which is nothing.
Well, that's right when Colorado was on the critical list, 9 straight points for the Buffs. And a guy
so there's no defensive resistance at all there. They're just letting them drive to the basket. It's as if the Cougars have stopped playing.
So let me ask you, Bill, because see the 9 straight points. We just talked about seniors, and you talked about Peyton Pritchard, and McKinley Wright is going to face this coming up in the next couple of months. Does he want to come back next year? Because he could beat Peyton Pritchard next year. It is a 4-year starter, dominate. Or does he choose to go play professional ball?
It's who they choose to listen to. Peyton Pritchard went and listened to the NBA. They said, Peyton, you're not ready. Nobody's really ever ready for the NBA. That jump up is huge. Don't listen to your friends. Don't listen to people who are going to benefit from your financial success. Listen to the people who are already there.
Well, those double-digit comeback wins that included Oregon State early in Game 1 today.
2 minutes ago, this game looked like it was over. And now it's up for grabs. And this is where Ellaby and Bonton have to just reassert themselves.
Yes, and one last point, just very quickly on the McKinley Wright point. McKinley Wright, one of his closest friends on the campus, is K.D. Nixon, a wide receiver for the football team, who at the end of this past football season put his toe in the water for the NFL, decided to come back, and there's a good inbounds for Jervay Robinson. And McKinley Wright told his buddy it was a good idea. Glad you came back. Well, so I wonder if that's an omen.
You look at this Colorado team, which is not playing well tonight. Yikes. What are Deshaun Schwartz's numbers tonight? Has he scored
He
yet?
will not. He is 1 out of 3 shooting and then 0 for 4 at the foul line. He only played 14 minutes.
But this team, Colorado, one of my favorites in terms of, because I love Tad Boyle and Rick George and Boulder and the whole spirit of being high in the Rockies and everything, but they got 2 seniors. If all these guys do come back, they can make a real season out of something that should have been this year, but clearly at this point has not materialized or been realized as the dream. Oh, nice.
Good scoop by Bonton.
That was Pete Maravich. Did you ever read the Fetterman book about Pete Maravich?
No.
Oh, my gosh. You know, Tad Boyle, you said it earlier, he named his youngest son, or is Pete his oldest son?
Pete's a high school senior now.
At Boulder High. So he named his youngest son after Pete Maravich. And I had the privilege of knowing Pete, of playing against Pete, and what an incredible player in person. Oh my gosh, up and under, that is a globetrotter play. That's also a Danny Ainge play right there. How come Danny Ainge is not in the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Don't know.
Shocking.
He was here early today, wasn't he?
I did not see him.
I thought he was. Was they a race teller? Yeah, he was here for the afternoon games. I saw Danny in Tucson a couple of weeks ago. I think he's had a particular interest in watching the Wildcats.
Well, they got a lot of players.
Amen.
But Washington, I was stunned that Washington lost today.
Yeah, you said that before. It was Arizona played offensively way better than they had a couple nights ago when you were there.
It was a game, though, that never really seemed to reach its potential because of all the fouls called.
Foul on Parquet here of Colorado.
I like the way the Washington State has regrouped after Colorado cut it to 12, the timeout. But when you can make this kind of play, this is a Cirque du Soleil move. I'm just trying to figure out which show that would be. We'll just call it the Ellaby show.
Well, our colleague and a good friend Don McClain, who does a lot of work preparing potential players for the NBA, has that contact. And he said it earlier. I heard him say Ellaby will be a first-round draft pick
In the NBA?
Yeah. They took some. They had some interest. Don was talking about this at the end of last year. Some teams that just started snooping around a little bit. I think very wisely, Ellaby came back for another year in Pullman.
Say that again. You say that Don trains people for the NBA?
Yeah.
I thought he was a broadcaster.
He is.
Send it back, Bonton. So he's also a trainer and a coach.
Yeah, he helps draft prep for certain players.
How do the players find him?
Through, I believe it's through an agency.
You don't want to give Don's phone number out over the air tonight?
No.
Whoa. You know who's here tonight, too? It's Craig Elo.
It's great.
Craig Elo, who does the radio for the Cougars.
Great to see him.
One of the finest human beings you'll ever see. A big game player, too, man. All the success that he had.
The Cougar shirt, right? Between Matt Chazano, who's the Cougar announcer, and Tad Boyle, who's the Colorado coach.
Craig Elo, he looks like he's 28.
I know. Isn't that something?
Looks like he's down at Laguna Beach a lot these days.
There he is, but very proud former Coug. It's nice to see. Detlef Schrempf was here earlier today watching the Huskies along with Chris Peterson and Lincoln Kennedy, another one of our colleagues who's going in the Pac-12 Hall of Honor.
Yes, that Hall of Honor, hasn't that been postponed for a year?
The ceremony will take place next year.
But they already announced all the guys.
The honorees are all set.
Conference of Champions, pride, loyalty, gratitude. The guys and the ladies going in. And what a list we have for that. Including Jennifer Azzi from Stanford. Okay, up and down basketball right here.
Well, if you score here, Colorado.
Get a three, Maddox Daniels. No, not even close. And Ellaby every time signs of life, signs of existence from the Buffaloes, it's just been Ellaby. And when he hasn't done it, it's been Bonton. But the way that the front court for the Cougars have fought. Beautiful.
And Ellaby, a little curl off 30 for C.J. Ellaby.
And moving to his offhand. That's the skill of a true champion. That's a guy who lives and breathes the sport and lives for the competitive opportunities to succeed.
So what a difference. Maddox Daniels could not hit the corner three. And then Ellaby hits a shot, a 5-point swing.
Wait, great defense again. Jeff Pollard.
And Ellaby does a wonderful job to give it to Pollard for the score.
And this has been the Kyle Smith clinic. He's got his shirt out over there. He's ready to go.
I'm trying to think. In this era of, well, it's been a long time era. Tony Miller and one. All Cougs.
Yes, this is a basketball coach.
That's a closing contract waiting to happen.
Kyle Smith.
Untuck it.
Nice. Here we go. Pull it all out, coach.
The Pac-12 men's basketball tournament is presented by New York Life. For 175 years, New York Life has been helping people act on their love. Visit NewYorkLife.com or connect with a financial professional to put your love into action. Washington State. And we want to give a shout because we were referencing the Pac-12 Hall of Honor, where one person of each school gets up, so honored. Jeannie Eggert-Helfer was a pioneering women's player in Washington State history. She's the Cougar honoree this year. Let's look at our CDW well-orchestrated play.
Defense, which leads to offense in the passing lane, pressure on the ball. But then when Noah Williams gets that ball, the spacing is just perfect. The eye contact, setting up your teammates, play for others. All the great heroes that we've had in our lives, they're the ones who sacrifice and discipline themselves so that other people's dreams could come true. And when Kyle Smith was a burgeoning star down in Houston as a young man, the college star that he looked up to was Kyle Macy. They shared the same first name, and he said, if Kyle Macy can do this, I can do anything. And it just went on from there.
For those who don't know, Kyle Macy was a wonderful college guard in the NBA.
Played for Kentucky.
Actually, an old broadcast partner of mine. I'm going to send him a text and tell him.
You tell Kyle hello.
He's a wonderful guy.
But Kyle Smith, who's the coach here, who look, somebody must have told him he tucked his shirt back in. Please, it's okay.
No, the untuck it deal, the endorsement deal has to be there. That's awesome.
So when Kyle was a young boy after Houston, his dad Gary, they lived in Portland for a while. So he was a huge Blazer fan. And when Kyle Smith was a young boy, he went to the Maurice Lucas basketball camp at Lewis and Clark College. Maurice Lucas, the greatest teammate that I ever had, and the namesake for one of our 4 sons, Luke. Beautiful passing. Throw it down. Throw it down. Throw it down. Dunk of the tournament in the Conference of Champions. A triple throw it down. Wow. I have never seen the Cougars play so well. And this goes back to the days of Steve Padakis and George Raveling, the Hall of Famer.
It is so, there's something really just enervating about seeing the Cougars celebrate like this, because they haven't in recent years, like a decade or so, haven't had much of this.
Well,
their band is here. I don't know if the bands will be allowed. I'm not aware of whether the bands are going to be allowed to be in the building the next few days.
But let's salute the Oregon State band from the opening game. Of this play right here, beautiful dish by Pollard, and then the catapult. Use your left arm to get up and over the top of Evan Batty, but the Utah band was not able to make it here because of the coronavirus.
Right.
And so the Oregon State band, backstage before the game, they found out about the Utah band not being able to make it, so they learned the Utah fight song.
That's awesome.
And the Oregon State band played the Utah fight song. And that's what the Conference of Champions is about. Yes, we have our differences. Yes, we have our rivalries and our competitive edge. But at the end of the day, we're all one, and we come together to fight to make tomorrow better. Thank you for our lives, Conference of Champions.
And that's awesome. That's a great story. And again, I'm not aware because everything is
up in the air.
Everything is being, is so unprecedented. All of these decisions, people are trying their best and really working hard at every level in just in the sports world to make the right decisions in the right framework. So I don't know, for example, with an empty building, will the bands be allowed? And do you have them?
And our sympathy, condolences, and willingness to help the people who work so hard to put these events on and who are coming as temporary, day-by-day workers. I mean, it's just critical. And what Rick Welch said today from San Francisco, when the Warriors said, look, we're not going to be able to have the fans, and Rick was the first to say, man, look, this is going to have huge impact on everybody's lives, and this is when we have to stay together.
Amen. Hall of Famer Rick Welch, most deservedly.
Oh, incredible.
I was thinking about that when our little cocktail waitress was serving the folks next to us and all the people here that are not going to be here the next 3 days, losing 3 days of work.
Kyle Smith took over here. There's only 5 players coming back. Oh, my God. They have to count that. That's the way this game is gone.
Yes.
No, they're calling it offensive.
2 with Chris Rasmussen. Michael Irving looked at each other. Michael Irving made the call. Charge.
I'm not going to disagree with those 2 guys because they're so great. We'll have to see the ground level and see if he was inside the restricted area. No, he's outside. Out, but that's a flop. I just don't like guys running underneath people who are in the air on the way to the basket. That's just not the way basketball.
Total agreement.
It's not basketball.
One thing it's more in this part of the game, obviously, but I've never understood the concept of defending court as opposed to defending people.
The players.
You're supposed to defend people.
So what you're supposed to do defensively, when the guys come into the hoop, you have to make an instant calculation as to how far away he can jump to from the basket, and then you got to meet him outside of that distance. McKinley Wright, Tyler Bay still out there battling. Whoa. This is a 21-point.
When you played all those years in the UCLA gym,
right?
How many offensive fouls were called?
None.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to know. I made my point.
Get in the air and make a play. And if you can't make the play, just get it back on the other end. But don't just go out there and fall on your backside, please. Congratulations, though. This fantastic year and resurgence up at Washington State here with their fantastic athletic director, Pat Chun. But the women's soccer team, 4th in the nation up at Pullman. The women's volleyball team, 4 straight NCAA tournaments.
Oh, they have a new baseball coach, off to a nice start early in the baseball season.
Yeah. Magna Chelarova playing a fantastic job for the women's volleyball team. You mentioned earlier the new football coach up there. I don't know much about Nick Rolovich. Is he related to Nick Rakosevich?
No. Nick Rolovich was the coach at Hawaii. He did a very nice job there, and he was a longtime quarterback in the arena football.
Let's see, a move from Hawaii to Pullman. How did that go over with the family?
Well, he's also moving into the Conference of Champions. I think that makes it all make sense. How do you pass up the Conference of Champions?
I never did.
You don't.
Well, I mean, and look, the Conference of Champions has given me the life that I have, and more than once.
The football program in Pullman, the life up there in the last 8-9 years has been terrific. That's a good thing. By the way, I'm turning around and I had a nice visit with him earlier. It looks like Chris Peterson's sitting behind him. Anyway, the Washington football coach Chris Peterson just stepped away from the job at the end of the season, was here to watch the Huskies this afternoon.
One of the many amazing, one of the amazing things about Kyle Smith and the job he's done this year The Cougars have had only 8 minutes. 8 minutes all season long where they had the full roster. Pollard is now hurt. Jalen Shedd was the point guard. Midway through the season, he had to have hip surgery. He's done.
Well, the disappointment, I'm sure, for Cougar fans, some of it was 2 years ago they had a really good point guard. And Malachi Flynn chose to leave and went to San Diego State. You saw, if you watch him this year, you understand how that hurts.
Player of the year in the conference, the defensive player of the year. Well, we didn't even mention Deion James, who was a post player, a front court player. Had the heart problem, career-ending deal where he collapsed on the court down in the Cayman Islands just 8 minutes in. But Kyle Smith, they've recovered and they're on their way.
This tournament is wide open. Wide open. It's wide open.
4 games. 4 games.
4 games in 4 days.
In 4 days.
In 4 days. Conference of Champions. Las Vegas.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Why not us? Why not us? Why not us?
Why not us?
That's like my day.
That is awesome.
Anything can happen. Why not us? 4 days. What more could you ask for? That pretty much sums it up. And what sums it up for the Cougars is that they've been the better team from the start. And we salute the greatness of this program. The guys like Robo Franks now playing for the G League and the Stockton Kings. Josh Hawkinson starring in Japan. Brock Modem in Valencia, Spain. Aaron Baines, after the Celtics, is now with Phoenix.
What are you, 37 the other night or something? Aaron Baines had some crazy game.
That guy can play. I wish he was still on the Celtics. I wish he were still on the Celtics. Excuse me. I'm trying to learn how to talk.
Well, one thing that...
Is it Marashevitz or Marakevsky? What was Volva's
Markovetsky.
name? Okay. Great defense.
Kuntz in the lane for Colorado, gets the bounce off the back iron. Dalen Kuntz.
Too little, too late here for the Buffaloes. They seem to have only found Choya down here to eat.
Daniels.
Even that runner went in for the Cougars.
But here's what, Bill, what I think from that why not us is that all year we saw this. The back end of the conference was way better. Was way stronger. And look what we've seen today. Washington coming off the final weekend in Arizona and plays a terrific game today as the 12 seed. And now 10 and 11 are going to win tonight.
Anything could happen. Yeah. 4 days. Why not us? Conquered the fear of shooting. And what was the other memorable?
By the way,
what was the other one? Somebody had to write that down because I've already forgotten.
Washington. The amazing thing is, again, we're in the infancy still of this net ranking that we see on the resume screens, right? It's the phrase. We're told it's a sorting tool. But that win today for Arizona is going to be an awfully good win. The 12 seed Washington, they have a 55 net ranking. UCLA, which had a great finish, is 79. There's a foul on the shot. Kuntz is going to go to the
Coming
line.
into tonight, coming into today, I thought Washington was going to win the whole thing in Atlanta. And then they go down to Arizona, which looked to be on the verge of just total collapse, and then they recover.
So there you go. That was, again, before play today.
I don't think Arizona State or UCLA are on the bubble. I think they're in. And Stanford, like Colorado, not finishing the season strong.
Right. That's the...
And the problem with so much of this speculation, and that's all it is, because nobody knows anything other than Mark Emmert, who's at the end of the day signs off on who gets in. And so it's who's playing well at the time. I mean, why pick a team that's collapsing against a team like Harvard is playing really well, or UCLA?
I would say one thing, though, we should, and this is for fans to understand, because I think it's important to emphasize. So you'd say UCLA, they finished second in the conference, right? They should be in. Jamie Zaninovich, our deputy commissioner of this conference, and a good friend, and Jamie served on the committee before he was in the Pac-12. And he emphasizes all the time, conference records are never discussed. His years in that room. Conference records, it's overall records.
That's a mistake.
That's a different conversation.
Right, it's like the Electoral College, a mistake.
I mean, that's going to be our dinner topic tonight. I love that.
in the not too distant future, 70% of the population is going to live in 15 states.
I would have thought we were already there.
We're very close.
Yeah. So, to basketball, again, the conference record, the fact that UCLA had this great run in conference play, in Jamie's experience, relaying to us that in the room, that it's the overall record that they have.
But that makes no sense because the conference is where you play against your best opponents.
McKinley Wright, and McKinley Wright knocks down a three. And I'm with you, Bill, because my personal soapbox has been the way college basketball is structured today with the incredible turnover year to year. Both front-end one-and-dones and grad transfer one-and-dones.
Throw it down, Bova.
He's back in the game, Mark Ovetsky. I think there should be some weight to how you play at the end of a year. That's what coaching's supposed to be, make you better. Now, I'm told that even though that's no longer formally a criteria, human beings in the room do know that. They know.
Will you come with me when we knock down the door of the committee? Please, the 7th place team in the Conference of Champions is better than all these at-large teams that get in with these automatic bids, and oh my goodness. Don't get me started. Let's talk about the quiet kingmaker of Las Vegas, Perry Thomas, who built this city, and what a city it's become.
Why was he quiet?
That was his personality. He was, unlike me, he was very dignified. He was very soft-spoken. You got to read this book, The Quiet Kingmaker of Las Vegas, by a Conference of Champions graduate, University of Oregon, Jack Sheehan. Just a brilliant book and fantastically well told. It's the history of Las Vegas, the business history.
By the way, Tyler Bay missed that foul shot, but he's had a 19-point, 6-rebound night. Tyler Bay and McKinley Wright have carried a lot of the load for Colorado.
But that's just all fantasy sports.
You know who the leading rebounder is for Colorado tonight?
McKinley Wright.
8. Unbelievable. It's been so up and down the stretch, he's been their leading rebounder. And here's another thing. You want to win a bet? Somebody? So Tyler Bay, as we have Tony Miller at the line here, Tyler Bay is a terrific rebounding year. Tyler Bay, second in overall rebounding to Zeke Naji, second in defensive rebounding. Who led the Pac-12 this year in defensive rebounding?
McKinley Wright.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Peyton Pritchard.
I guarantee you no one will know this.
Okay.
Except maybe a few people, because he's on the floor right now. C.J. Ellaby led the Pac-12 in defensive rebound.
That was not my next guess.
I know, I knew that.
Great closeout defense. Noah Williams, what a contributor tonight. Send it back, Noah.
Williams with a block and all the ball pinballing into McKinley Wright's hands.
The pinball wizard.
And there's, wow, a long three into the hands of Bonton, and this one
is over.
Secure for the Cougs.
They're going to
break an 11-year drought.
With all the great museums that they have here in Las Vegas, they may just build one to the coaching acumen of Kyle Smith and Mark Fox, the newcomers to the Conference of Champions. And on Wednesday night in the City of Lights and the City at Night, they are the ones who stand tallest. Wow, welcome to the Conference of Champions.
Well, that 80 points for Washington State, the most allowed in a game by Colorado this year.
Offense wins. And I'm concerned for the Buffaloes. Traveling violation here. The only thing that can save Boulder right now is the fact that the Grateful Dead are coming there a week after the 4th of July. Two nights, Folsom Field. We'll be there.
This is just a sub timeout. Kyle Smith wanted to get a few people into the game. Alexander Strauding's coming in for Colorado. Alyash Kunch for Washington State. But that's something. Again, Colorado, a team that has prided itself on defense this year, but the Cougars come at her, and Ellaby has been a big part of it with a 30-point night. The most points scored against Colorado this year.
The way they started. That's what champions do. When you lead the game from the opening tip, which they have done, soul-searching time
Amazing.
For not only Colorado, but for Stanford as well.
Stanford never led in the first game tonight. Colorado led once a minute into this game. Shocking.
Oh, yes. Bova. Build a statue. Wild play. Wow. That's going to be a locker room that you really don't want to be a part of for Colorado.
So it is going to be their 5th consecutive loss to end the season. And again, they're going to be in madness, but
so they
certainly
lost.
not with the seed that they would have had 2 weeks ago.
Oh, they lost to UCLA, at Cal, at Stanford, at Utah, and now Washington State. The Cougars just dominate.
And Bill, 2 streaks. The first 11 seed to win, the first tournament win in 11 years for Washington State, and the first time that Colorado has ever lost a first-round game in the Pac-12 tournament.
A historic day on almost every front in all of our lives, and now we are uplifted by the spiritual reawakening of the Cougars in front of their loyal fan base. Wow, this was a night we'll never forget.
Well, in so many ways, our world changing seemingly by the minute while we were here tonight. There's what's left for the quarterfinals tomorrow in the Pac-12 tournament presented by New York Life. Right now, we started at noon with Oregon State. You see the rest of the slate straight through. The final game will be the Cougars against Arizona State. That will air on the Pac-12's partner FS1 tomorrow night.
It all goes so fast. The company you keep good going, and a plan that flexes with you. New York Life, thank you for ours. Our night is just beginning. We're going out into the city of lights at night. Here we go.
All right, Mike Yam, take it away.
All right, Ted, it was a dramatic day. Day number 1 officially in the books, and it caps off with a pretty incredible performance from one of the best players in this entire conference, C.J. Elleby, who's just getting the earpieces in and ready to rock and roll with us. But Elleby's line, 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. It's a 10-year losing streak. I mean, Tony Bennett was the head coach the last time Washington State actually won in the conference tournament. CJ, congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you have any idea that the drought had been as long as it has been?
Yeah, you know, our coach, he told us coming into the game, and we knew it was going to take a great effort, and we knew our team hadn't won a tournament game for, you know, like how long you said, and so we just knew we had to come out from the jump and give everything we got and leave it all on the court.
You know, we were talking about you. In fact, Earl said something about you could be an NBA guy for like the Spurs, that guy that would come late in the first round, maybe have that kind of like do everything. And I actually said I compared you to Ginobili earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I love the way you play, get around, you get outside, you get in. Talk about your style and how hard that is for other teams to guard you.
It's something that I developed over the years. You know, in high school, I had to do everything. I was really one of the only D1 players on my team. And so it helped me develop, you know, an all-around game. I had to score, I had to rebound, I had to pass, I had to get my teammates involved. So just the way, you know, how I got here and all the teams I played for AAU altogether just helped me become an all-around player.
First off, I'm one of your biggest fans. I've been talking about you all year. I said this kid is unbelievable. He's a lefty. His nickname got to be the X-Man. He does it all, right? So let me ask you a question. Coming into tonight, what was your offensive strategy as far as attacking Colorado's defense?
You know, coming off of a tough week in Arizona and Arizona State, my approach is just kind of not to press, you know, to let it come, less is more. And I just tried to, you know, hit my catch and shoot shot, my spot-up shots. And once that got going, you know, I kind of feel like the team kind of got going and it opened up for them and they felt a little more confident, you know. We came out from the jump and it kind of seemed like we were rushing a few shots. And once we settled down and our defense just kind of, they couldn't really score on us, you know. And so once we settled down on offense, everything fell into place.
CJ, it was an interesting game that you just played against ASU the other day. You and Isaac didn't have necessarily your most efficient performance in that matchup. You almost still had a chance, at least late, to win. You match up against them in tomorrow night. What do you take away from that game that'll help you tomorrow against ASU?
Just that we got to play inside out. You know, when we got the ball in the post today, it kind of slowed the offense down for us, and we got to get good looks. At halftime, our coach gave us a stat where we had 7 post touches and 12 points from those 7 post touches. And so just getting the ball inside out and trusting our bigs that they can make plays in there and find us for threes is a big piece of it.
CJ, before we let you get going, I just want to be clear. I know these guys are talking about the NBA. I speak on behalf of every Washington State fan. You have time on campus. You got a little bit of time, all right? So just push that off because it's been a real treat for all of us watching on the floor. Congratulations on the win. Looking forward to seeing you and your teammates against ASU tomorrow night. We are not done. I know Ted Robinson, Bill Walton, and Lewis Johnson are, but these three, I'll say the three of us, the two of you guys, Matt and Earl, have complete analysis. We got the post-game report. It's coming up next here on Pac-12 Network.